afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here and to welcome everyone to on this occasion. We all know we're here because JFK Foundation has generously donated $700,000 to our EMS services, and we definitely wanted to have an occasion to commemorate it. I know a lot of you from JFK have been speaking with our business administrator, Abby Levinson. She sends her apologies. She's under the weather, so she couldn't be here. No pun intended. And just want to say how much we appreciate this gesture. We know that we view it as an investment in our quality of life here in Plainfield. So we really deeply appreciate it. And I'm not going to speak for long. I'm only here to welcome you, and I'm going to turn it over to our CEO and our fearless leader, Mayor Adrian O'Mac. Just want to quickly run down the program because I'm not going to come back up here. The mayor is going to introduce the dignitaries and share a few remarks, and then in the order of the program that you have, we'll hear from the JFK Medical Center and Muhlenberg Foundation. We'll have the remarks from the President and Chief Hospital Executive, Amy Thornton. Then we'll hear from Mark Bober, who is the Director of Emergency Medical Services. And we'll hear from Robert Fleischer, who is the Muhlenberg Foundation Chair, in that order. Then we'll have the presentation of checks. So thank you and welcome again.
Well, good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
And welcome to City Hall, to the Elizabeth Urquhart Library. And it is indeed a pleasure to see all of you here this afternoon for this very important presentation. Before I get into a few remarks, I just would like to introduce the members of the governing body that are here present with us. And we have Councilor Charles McCray, Councilor Terry Briggs-Jones, and Councilor Richard White. It's a team, it's a partnership. It's always good to have council members present whenever we're doing things like this. And I know we have a few members from my administration here as well. You already met the Chief of Staff, Jasmine Hunt, our Director of Economic Development, Zenobia Field is also present. Our Fire Director, Kenny Childress, is here as well as our Director of Health and Human Services, Social Services. I always get that wrong, Shep Brown. And I believe those are the members of our leadership team that are present here. And obviously my executive assistant, Jackie Workman, is here also. And so all of you know that Plainfield, and I know that when Amy comes up, she will introduce the folks from JFK and the Foundation. But all of you know that Plainfield has had its challenges as far as emergency management services are concerned. And this goes back a long way. But it was exacerbated a couple years ago when the Plainfield Rescue Squad, that had been an institution in the city for so many years, closed its doors. And that was a really sad day. But I must tell you that those doors were closed without the knowledge of my administration, without the knowledge of the council. We were not informed. We read about it in the papers. And so that was a very sad day for the city of Plainfield. And so we've had our struggles. And emergency services are so critically important to any city. And so we were very fortunate. And we've had great relations with the Muhlenberg Foundation for many years. Ron West, who had been our able Director of Finance for so many years, has always had a great relationship and has been an active participant with the foundation for many, many years. And so we knew that we needed to come up with a solution to this very thorny issue that we were facing, because I mean, folks get sick every day and they need a service that will respond whenever the need is there. And so there was a gap in that service for a while. And through the many conversations that we've had with Amy and with others from JFK and from the foundation, we were able to address this issue and have emergency services in our city that I believe those services are now better than at any time previously. And thanks in large measure to JFK, to the foundation, and to the partnership that we enjoy. The people in this city, we are very fortunate to enjoy the partnership that we have with JFK and with the foundation, because without that, there would still be this gaping hole in the emergency services here in the city of Plainfield, and lives would be at stake. And so I, as mayor of the city, I'm very pleased to know that JFK Foundation stepped into the gap, and as a result of that, we have a level of emergency management services that today I would describe as second to none, and we are very pleased as a result of that partnership. And so we really appreciate all of the members from JFK, from the foundation, and from Hackensack Meridian, everyone in the organization that has had a part to play in the decision to give us this grant that would allow us to continue to provide emergency management services. We know the history. The foundation and the city of Plainfield dates back to well over 100 years, and I think it's important that we continue to see that connection, that partnership, so that there's always that tie between the foundation and the city of Plainfield, because I believe that is what it was meant to be. So on behalf of the great city of Plainfield, I thank every member of the Hackensack Meridian organization, JFK, and the foundation for the generous donation that you have provided to the city of Plainfield to allow us to continue to provide emergency medical services where there's a response within, I think, less than 8 minutes or something like that. I believe that you might know those numbers better than I do, but we're very pleased with the response. And so we thank you, we appreciate you, and I will now turn it over to, is it going to be you, Amy?
I'm going to start out, yes.
So we turn it over to Amy to come forward and introduce the members of her team and to speak to us about what this means. I know what it means to us from my lens as mayor, and we're thankful and we're grateful. And I believe I speak on behalf of the council when I say that we're grateful and we're thankful. So it's all you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the Plainfield Council, members of the administration. I'm delighted to have the opportunity today on behalf of JFK Medical Center, a proud member of the Hackensack Meridian Health System, to be here to celebrate this opportunity to continue to maintain the strength of the bond of JFK with the city of Plainfield, and in particular in the area of EMS. I am joined today by several of my colleagues who are part of the JFK and Hackensack Meridian family, our EMS leadership, who are truly the SEAL Team 6 of JFK and Hackensack Meridian. No matter what the problem is, EMS is always on the scene to help solve it. And I'm delighted you'll have a chance to hear from Mark Bober, who's our director of EMS, but he's joined by Ed Morowski and Jake Morozic, who are two of our outstanding EMS leaders. And we are here today because of the Muhlenberg Foundation and Ron West and Rob Fleschler, who you'll hear from. And Sherry Marino is the executive director of the JFK Foundation, and our government relations colleagues, Adam Beater and Tom Lanke, who help us maintain the strength of that connection to the city of Plainfield. And we're here today to celebrate that, what is a very long and deep connection that started with Muhlenberg Regional Medical Center well over, I think it's 150 years. Ron will correct me if I'm wrong. And JFK in many ways was new to the party when JFK and Muhlenberg merged in 1998. And we have over time changed quite a lot, as we know. But JFK, we are here because Plainfield matters to JFK and because EMS matters to both of us. So our mission as a community hospital that is committed to community service, Plainfield is one of our most core communities and at the very heart of our mission. And we don't serve that with an acute care hospital in the city anymore, but we serve it with several really essential healthcare services, and the health and the safety of the residents of Plainfield are critically important to JFK and to our mission. And EMS, I wear two hats. I am the site president for JFK Medical Center, the hospital, but I also lead EMS services for Hackensack Meridian, South and Central region. And I always say the great secret is if I had to choose between the hospital and EMS, I might keep EMS and give away the hospital. And it's because I really believe EMS matters so much to the quality of life and to the safety in a community. And I am proud of what we do as a hospital, extremely proud, and having quality access to hospital services matters. But really what matters the most when you have a medical emergency is safely knowing that someone will respond, I believe it's in 8 minutes or less, to a 911 call. And one of the reasons people are always a little bit mystified why I'm so passionate about EMS. But I live in a community that I live in Princeton, so you would think, one of the blue ribbon schools. One of the great deficits in Princeton is we are served only by a volunteer squad. We're one of the last communities. You are not unique in volunteers being unable to maintain themselves as a volunteer squad providing basic life support. And for our community, advanced life support, the mobile intensive care, the paramedics, we're served out of Capital. Our hospital in Princeton doesn't provide EMS. So if somebody calls 911 in the town where I live, it is very unlikely you'll get paramedics. You will get a volunteer ambulance who the best thing they can do is drive you to the hospital and hope they get you there in time. And I've seen the effect of that. On my street, good friends and neighbors, he is a surgeon, his wife is a CRNA, a nurse anesthetist. Their 4-year-old daughter aspirated, and they called 911, and they got a volunteer squad who didn't have the equipment to clean her airway, and they lost their daughter. So I have never forgotten how much EMS matters. It matters to the safety and to the health of a community. So we are so committed, first and foremost, to being sure any community that we have a responsibility to has access to reliable 911 care. And long before the rescue squad became struggling, we've had a commitment since the 1970s since the state of New Jersey first developed paramedics and a 2-tier system. Mercy 6 was one of the first vehicles the first teams that pioneered putting medics and nurses on the road to bring the emergency room to the community. And we served Plainfield since that time with our advanced life support. And we've partnered with the rescue squad for many, many years. And so we are thrilled that, not that the rescue squad can't exist, we are thrilled that when you were faced with that dark day, we were able to fill that gap and be both your basic life support and your advanced life support, your paramedic. And we recognize that is a burden on municipalities who are no longer able to rely on volunteers and fundraising, that it becomes a budgetary obligation, and it's not an insignificant one. So thanks to the Muhlenberg Foundation, that even though we no longer operate a hospital in Plainfield, we have a group of citizens who administer funds that are still there solely for the purpose of improving the quality of life and safety and health in Plainfield. And I don't want to steal Rob's thunder, but we could think of no better way to use some of those funds than to assure that we have the professionals, we have the vehicles, we have the ability to bring the service, but I think as everyone recognizes, insurance and gas and the things that it costs to maintain EMS, it doesn't happen by magic, so mutually we need a way to assure that we're financing and funding those services. So I am so proud of JFK and the fact that we have the Muhlenberg Foundation continuing over well over 100 years, right? To continue to find ways to invest in the community, and that we're doing it in EMS. So the real expert in what it takes to bring these services to people when they call 911 in your city is my team in uniform, and I'd like to introduce and have you have a chance to hear for a moment from Mark Bover, who directs the outstanding team of EMS professionals who bring the services to the city. But thank you for the chance.
Thank you, Amy. Amy Thornton's always a tough act to follow. I'll do my best. So on behalf of JFK University Medical Center and Hackensack Meridian Health, we're grateful for the opportunity to continue our long-standing commitment to health and safety here in Plainfield. Since 1976, as Amy said, when one of New Jersey's first paramedic units was formed at Muhlenberg Hospital, JFK has taken immense pride in our role as partners alongside the brave men and women of Plainfield Police and Plainfield Fire Departments. And we look forward to expanding this role together with Union County EMS. Thank you to the Muhlenberg Foundation for recognizing the critical role of reliable EMS services in the communities that we serve, and for providing this essential to support to the city of Plainfield when needed most. Together, I truly believe that we will ensure that the residents of Plainfield will always receive timely assistance when 911 is called, and we look forward to working together with Mayor Mapp, your administrative team, council, esteemed members who are with us today, with our partners in public safety, Director Childress, Director Abney, and ultimately I know we will achieve that mission. So thank you very much for your faith in us, and we look forward to a long and fruitful partnership together. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As chair of the Muhlenberg Foundation, I'm delighted to be here. I'd like to acknowledge our leadership in the room here, Mayor Mapp and Plainfield City Council, and a number of other honored guests. Thank you all for being here to formally acknowledge the Muhlenberg Foundation's $700,000 grant. We are particularly proud of being able to help the community in this way. Our community, or our commitment, extends beyond the walls of the JFK Satellite ED and the Schneider schools on the Muhlenberg campus, and that we're truly committed to helping the city of Plainfield, and hope that this grant in some ways goes to demonstrate our dedication. When a healthcare emergency arises and medical services need to be on scene, it's good to know that we're able to pick up the phone and dial a number, and somebody will show up. Not too long ago, I also had a medical emergency before this was going on, and so having to wait half an hour for an ambulance was a little bit scary. And so I'm sure that this is now, in the course of this last year, been brought down to probably inside of 10 minutes. The Plainfield community is incredibly important to us and has been for well over a century, and this grant to support the EMS services is one of just many ways that we try to impact positive health and positive future and winning outcomes for the Plainfield residents. So with my colleagues here from the board today, the Board of Trustees today, Ron West, and I'm not sure if anybody else made it, but Ron's been a great mentor to me since coming onto the Muhlenberg Foundation board, and we all appreciate the town and everybody here today to accept this gift. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it's time for the presentation of the check.
3, 2, 1.